Hi, I'm Professor Stephanie, and in this video I'm going to show you how I approach drawing a plant. It's a large plant that you might see in an office setting. It's actually a fiddle leaf. You can see I have a quick pencil sketch that I like to do ahead of time. That gives me a chance to get the plant in there in the container. You can see there's also going to be a table, a lamp, and a picture. And as I work on this plant, I am layering the leaves. I like to sort of work one leaf at a time. Some are floating flat. Some I have that are going to be right down the center. I also will think in terms of there's a stem here. There are 3 stems, 1, 2, 3. So I'm keeping that in mind as I add my plants. For example, now I'm working on the stem on the left. The other thing that I'm going to do is as I get closer to the top, the leaves are going to get a little bit smaller. And that's kind of a natural way that, we'll see our plants. I'm also going to sneak in some of the stem in places where I left openings and there are no leaves. So coming back into a little bit of some overlap here. I think that's very realistic for plants to be overlapping one on top of the other. I think part of what I like to do is to have the plants look very realistic. Often I'm either looking at a plant or I have a picture of one. So that's a pretty good representation of the plant leaves. I'm working with a Sharpie medium point. I like to go into and add some texture. This is what I would call texture, or the veins that you'll find. And this is actually a fine Sharpie marker. You can see I also enjoy different pencils that have fun pencils. Always have a big eraser. And then I'm going to show you a little bit about how I use that T-square, and as a matter of fact, I can do that right now. Work a little bit on this table when I have taped my paper down to a piece of cardboard, and this gives me a chance to get some very straight lines I'm going to use for my table. Same with the picture frame, and I can go both ways here as far as getting my lines at a baseboard. So I find this plastic ruler to be very handy. Back to my medium marker. One of the other things I did this is a 1-point perspective table, I created a vanishing point right in the middle of that leaf, and you can see I've used it to help me get that perspective. Now you'll see I'll use pencil often for guide lines. It's really important for me to be able to know where I'm going, have a little bit of support around the shapes that I'll be using with my marker. Here comes this 1-point perspective, helpful, right? It's going back to that single point. Got some back legs here that are a little bit narrower. Flat front, so I'm working with my flat front and I'm getting my angle from the vanishing point. Notice I've haven't done the very top because I have a lamp here that I'm going to add. And I'm just shifting the shape a little bit to add some interest. With my lamps, I like to work with the center. Here's the center. Knowing the center helps me work back and forth. Again, there's a guide that I will erase. I actually measured from point to point here to be sure that was the same from the center. Same with here. And then I always like to add a little finial, and I would come back in with my thin marker. There's oftentimes a seam here and a lampshade. I work hard to add those details. I think that adds to the realistic aspect of the image that you're drawing. Here's my baseboard. I like my images to be sitting on something. Looks like I can get a little bit of the container there. Back up to just a rectangular shape here that I put in as a frame. I'm going to add a little bit of that depth. My angle for that corner came from my vanishing point right there. So this is a basic hand-drawn plant with a side table. One of the things I might do is add some wood flooring for texture, and I would do that. I've got my little ruler here and my vanishing point, and I would just estimate the board's widths. And I'm a big fan of moving back and forth with my marker and then back to pencil when I need it. So I'm going to sign off and maybe finish this up, add some texture, and I'll post an image of it. Thank you.